negative when you're little, you can still handle it, but it affects you and you can destroy yourself as you grow older. I think a lot of it, I think, is attitude, how you view gymnastics. If you think of it, how hard it is, as you go on, it just gets harder and harder, and then the more you don't want to do it, and then you're like, forget it, this isn't worth it.
It is truly amazing. At 17, she's a veteran. On the men's side, she'd be one of the youngest competitors.
She'd just be starting out, Joel.
Man, Sandy Woolsey with a 9.725 on that first vault.
All right, for Sandy's second vault, she performed a tuck Sugahara with a full twist. That also is valued at 10 points. She did a good job, nice and clean. A hop on the landing, that'll cost her.
And it looks like there was some pain on that landing as well for Sandy Woolsey, almost like she strained her back a little bit.
For Sandy's first vault, she performed a round-off entry, backwards entry onto the horse. This is a forward entry, nice push, nice clean form in the air, and 2/10 deduction on the landing for the hop.
And the average on those two vaults at 9.675 for Sandy Woolsey. As we head back to the men's division, the second rotation, and it's Patrick Kirksey on the pommel horse.
He really manhandles this event. Patrick also starts in the flare position as Chris Waller did, traveling across the horse. Very steady, very confident performer on this exercise.
Patrick is 21 years old, and he's been in gymnastics now 12 years.
This is very difficult to travel the horse like he just did, a longitudinal travel at the end of routine. He'll get some bonus points for that.
Well, Patrick didn't fare as well as he would have liked on the floor exercise. Let's see if he makes up for it on the pommel horse.
Well, this was a very consistent, very strong exercise. Nothing really unique here, but it flowed very well, and it had a reasonable amount of difficulty. And, of course, the stuck landing.
Patrick was very successful in the pommel horse at the NCAA Championships just 4 weeks ago and comes up with a 9.70.
A big score for the pommel horse. You're basically starting at 0, and there are a number of requirements that you must fulfill to increase the score.
Amy Shear's first vault was 9.712 as she prepares for her second vault under the protege from Bella Caroli's gym.
Oh, and Amy performed a handspring front somersault for her vault. A many gymnast would have sat that vault down. She landed a little short on rotation, but she saved it. She took a big step back.
Amy, like so many others, has left her hometown to move down to Houston to be in that gym with Bella Caroli. She's a native of Cincinnati.
Amy under-rotates the vault, actually, and she almost has to sit down, but she takes a big step back and saves the landing.
Amy is only 15 years old. Her second vault, a 9.562. The average, 9.637. We'll be right back to continue with the U.S. Gymnastics Championships, the event finals. When we come back, Randy Johnson is on the vault. Randy Johnson returns this afternoon, hoping to regain the form that made her the all-around champ last year. It was 1989. The U.S. gymnastics world revolved around Florida native Randy Johnson. After returning from the 1988 Summer Olympics as the United States' top all-around finisher, she swept through a score of national and international competitions, displaying the determination and drive of a true champion. Randy collected the all-around title at the American Cup, as well as sweeping 5 gold medals at the International Tour of Champions in Cottbus, East Germany. Add those accomplishments to all-around victories at the USA versus USSR Challenge and last year's U.S. Championships. She entered last year's Worlds as America's brightest hope and came home with a silver medal in the vault. But that was a year ago. Randy has battled back through a series of injuries, finishing a disappointing 22nd in March's American Cup competition. And many have questioned if she's lost her drive.
My goal at first when I started gymnastics was to compete in the '88 Olympics, which I did. I made that goal. And the year after, I was on such a high. I didn't know what to expect, and I just kept competing. And I set my goals for that year, and I've just been taking it a year at a time right now.
This year, Brandy has been taking up subjects other than gymnastics. She has enjoyed life in the spotlight and lent her name to some commercial endorsements.
I can keep up with the big guys, too.
Not bad. Think you can teach me one of those flips?
Milk. It does a body good.
As the trophy collection illustrates, she has been outstanding. But outside interest, including spending time with her boyfriend and enjoying the Florida sun, have contributed to her dropping out of the spotlight. She is no longer the only gymnast to watch at these championships. She faltered in the all-around optionals and failed to defend her title, finishing a disappointing third.
As long as you're having fun in what you're doing and you want to continue to compete, it doesn't matter if you're number 1 or number 4, as long as you're doing the best that you can do. And that gives you a challenge, even if you are number 4, that you want to be number 1 again.
As recent history illustrates, success in American gymnastics is short-lived and aimed at youth. Both all-around national champions prior to Brandy are no longer involved in the sport. Christy Phillips went through a growth spurt and was unable to adjust to her new body. 1988 Olympic balance beam bronze medalist Phoebe Mills decided to retire at 16 to resume what she labeled a normal teenage life.
When I was training with Phoebe and Christy, I never knew how much pressure was put on them until, I got in their spot. And there is a lot of pressure.
The correlations between Phillips and Johnson's body types are evident. But Coach Kevin Brown feels that if handled correctly, Brandy's changes could work to her benefit in the future.
There's a stage that they go through. It might be a 6-month period of time. You have to work with them through this growth spurt. Let them know that you're concerned about it, and just work with them on a daily basis. So it has to be more of a positive, upbeat type thing, and not a nagging, negative thing that it's something that every female has to go through, and you need to know how to deal with it as a coach.
2 years doesn't sound like a long time, but for a gymnast, it can be an eternity.
My future goal is to stay until 92 and be on the 92 team. But as I said, right now, I'm just taking it 1 year at a time.
So Brandy Johnson failed to defend her all-around title yesterday, trying to pick up individual championships today, and this is one of her very best events, the vault.
And that was a beautiful vault, an outstanding effort from Brandy Johnson. She had a 1/10 deduction for the step on the landing, otherwise fantastic.
This is the type of event that really plays into the hands of a competitor like Brandy Johnson, where she is so quick to begin with and so powerful.
In vaulting, we look for height, distance, and clean form in the air. And Brandy Johnson really displays all of those attributes.
So Brandy Johnson, probably a good 1/10 of a point deduction on that bobble at the end, and came up with a 9.762 on her first vault.
For her second vault, Brandy performs a handspring front with a half twist in pike position. That was beautiful. That was a good vault. Again, a step on the landing. That's going to cost her.
She has had problems, Christy, all weekend long in nailing landings.
And it's really unfortunate. You can see here that this is a tremendous vault. Great form in the air. And it's too bad she takes those 2 steps because that costs her 2/10.
Score on the second vault, a 9.775, so the average for Brandy Johnson. And we have a new leader now in the vault, a 9.768. John Roethlisberger ready for the apparatus where he won it all yesterday, the pommel horse.
Yeah, probably his weakest event, Joel, but showing his competitive style, he had a fabulous exercise. Walks completely across the horse. That's called a Magyar travel. Showing very good swing, very extended. All he needs is the dismount. Well, that's pure Roethlisberger style. Once again, nothing incredible, but absolutely no deductions throughout the entire exercise.
Roethlisberger simply spoils you with his consistency. We're back over to the women's vault now. Our all-around champion, Kim Zumeskal, with her first vault, and this may be her strongest area.
At 14 years old, Kim Zumeskal has already scored 2 perfect 10s on this event. was not a typical Kim Zmeskal vault. She landed low and she had to hop.
But you know, Christy, she is so aggressive. I've never seen anybody attack this vault the way she does.
On this vault, Kim just lacks the speed and the push that she normally has. And as a consequence, she's slow in the rotation and a little low on the landing.
And it's got to be somewhat of a letdown for Zmeskal after the high that she reached yesterday, winning the all-around competition, just like Roethlisberger, who had a 9.6 on the pommel horse. 9.712 for Kim Zmeskal. Not up to her usual standards on the vault.
But not a low score by any means. For a second vault, Kim will be performing a handspring front with a half twist in pike position. This is the same vault performed by Brandy Johnson. Oh, and that's a shame. That is very uncharacteristic of Kim. We have not seen Kim Zmeskal break during the whole competition.
It is so rare to see Kim Zmeskal touch the floor, especially on the vault.
Kim had a strong, aggressive run into the vault and a nice push. Actually, she had a better vault going here. And then she just pulled her legs in a little too far. This vault had too much rotation.
So there's no way that Kim Zmeskal is going to overtake Brandy Johnson after they average her two vaults at 9.237 on the second with an average of 9.474. So a little consolation in the early going this afternoon for last year's national champion, Brandy Johnson, as she has taken the first gold of the women's division this afternoon. Brandy winning the vault competition over Sandy Woolsey and Amy Shear. And in the men's pommel horse, their second rotation, Patrick Kirksey from the University of Nebraska winning the gold medal. John Roethlisberger picking up the silver in a tie for the bronze between Waller and Warburton. We'll be right back to Denver. We continue with the event finals of the U.S. Gymnastics Championship. The uneven bars coming up for the women, the still rings for the men in their third rotation. And the first up on the still rings from UCLA, Scott Keswick.
Fifth place in this all-around competition, his most successful national championships thus far. On the still rings, what we're looking for primarily is to keep those rings still. They should not be swinging at all. We're also looking for skills like this. Strength parts. That was an L cross right into a pull-out position. A D-rated skill, one of the most difficult.
And in gymnastics, the D is the most difficult, as Tim pointed out, with the A skills being the simplest.
The gymnast must also swing to the handstand position, as you just saw Scott do. Oh boy, yeah, he's picked up a lot of swing here. Oh, what a recovery. Tremendous dismount. That was a double twisting double, 2 flips and 2 twists. Great job. One of his requirements here, swinging from handstand right to handstand. That's called a backup rise. Another requirement, to show a strength part. This one called an inverted cross. Scott also chose to show us one of the most difficult dismounts being done in the world today. This is a double twisting double. 2 twists and right in a bucket.
Great dismount by Scott Keswick. Should score highly from the judges and does so. A 9.725 for Keswick on the still rings.
Boy, what a competition this kid is having.
We move over to the second rotation for the women. And from Independence